church is important in a minute. It then moves on to a shot of some trenches. We have No Man's Land and Pumping Station 3 written on a sign. We then get a map showing us the specific location of this map. This is also the first time that we ever get to see Dr. Maxis officially, which is very awesome. However, I'm not quite sure that the face fits the voice. It doesn't look like someone who's going to take over the world and kill everybody. We then see a 935 logo on the wall. These things are literally everywhere on this map. We didn't get to see the tomb, and we get to see all the intricate carvings into the walls and the stones. We then see a part of one of the pumping stations. If you look carefully, you can also see a weapon in the background, just behind one of the tubes of the pumping stations. And then we have this bit here, which is likely to put a lot of people on the wrong track. And we get to see Shi No Numa and the Meteor again, but this time it looks completely different. They've changed it. Now whether Treyarch are just trying to fix the story or change it up a bit, we can't be certain. There are already loads of inconsistencies with the story and things that don't make sense simply because they've changed their mind and done stuff differently. So we just have to kind of go along with it and see what happens with some of the aspects of the story. But this is no doubt Shi No Numa. Now things start to get a little more interesting. We can see soldiers in what looks to be World War II gear. We can also see some ruins with the same kind of blue glow as the meteorite. We can see they're carrying stuff out from the ruins. We then get a shot of them mining through one of the walls. Now if you look carefully here, you can see that they are definitely World War II style soldiers. We have the STG here. We said it would be coming back, and there it is. Now obviously none of this makes sense. World War II soldiers in World War I. What about the medieval zombies that we saw from the picture yesterday? Well, I just want to say one thing. Time loops, pockets of time, and time travel. The story is littered with crossing timelines, people going back in time, and time loops everywhere. We will obviously learn more about this when the map is out. So they finally mine through the wall, and they see that it's hollow, or there's a tunnel behind it. And then suddenly a zombie out of the dark just comes charging at them. It's too dark to be able to see until it's too late. And then in the next shot we get to see the zombie is eating the soldier that he just killed and then rips off his head. Now something that I noticed yesterday but was unsure about, so I didn't say anything until we get a better look, is that these zombies look quite a lot like the Knights Templar. And this is backed up by a scene in just a second where you'll see on their white clothing robes that you can see a red cross in the centre. Now if these are the Knights Templar, that could mean many different things. There are lots of legends and lots of myths surrounding the Knights Templar. Lots of movies have been made up of these kind of myths. Stuff about, the Holy Grail and all these legendary secret artifacts that they have. And then in this next shot here we get to see a better look at what I was talking about, the white kind of robes with the red cross on. We can see a lot of these style zombies in the room here. Now something that caught my attention is some of the kind of interesting designs on the wall look like kind of, if you've ever seen like the Black Sun and the kind of different earlier versions of those kind of things, it kind of reminds me of an earlier version of the swastika and the Black Sun that were used in kind of earlier times before they became, the Black Sun and stuff like that, which I found was quite interesting. Obviously the people in this room get overrun by the zombies. Their guns from the future don't help them here. The zombies then come spilling out of the tomb. Something to note is the Templar-looking zombies have kind of blue eyes, but the zombies that come out of the tomb, the soldiers have orange eyes, or yellow. It's a bit difficult to tell. They all just come charging out and start charging straight for the other trenches and all the other soldiers. Then we see a scene of the No Man's Land. We see the kind of similar signs that you see in Transit, that kind of give you the warning signs in the No Man's Land. We then see the soldiers again with the STGs trying to hold off, but no good. They get completely overrun. And this is obviously kind of how, here at least, the outbreak started. We then move into a scene of a zombie being run over by a tank, and then guess who's on top of the tank? Tank kicks the zombie off, and we can see him with one of the new weapons, the MG08. He then jumps off of the tank and then continues to own some zombies. He runs out of ammo, he drops the gun on the floor and just starts stabbing them. He then pulls out his sidearm, which is the Remington New Model Army, the same one from Buried, and generally just starts to own stuff up. We then pan up into a shot of the No Man's Land, which then transitions into a shot of Nikolai. He's fighting off zombies with the new Mauser pistol. Something to take note is he looks like a pilot. I'm guessing he's a pilot because he's a bit out of place here. He then gets an axe and starts chopping up all the zombies. Just chops off his leg clean straight off. I think they've done a really good job with this. All the characters are just owning everything. They all look really cool. They put a lot of effort into making Takeo look awesome, because he was often the character that people didn't want to play too much. Nikolai then just pulls out an Olympia and starts shooting some zombies. It then transitions through a door, and we get our first look at Takeo. Like a ninja, he's just jumping up the walls, chopping zombies in half, chopping their heads off, and generally, again, just owning. Just like with Mob of the Dead, the zombies in this look very cool. You see they have like barbed wire on them, like boils and stuff on their head. It looks horrible. It then jumps through this doorway kind of window, and all our characters meet up and see each other for the first time at least in this scene. They point their guns at each other, they're not quite sure, but if you look carefully it kind of looks like something is out of place. They take like a second look at each other, they're not quite sure, it looks a little bit familiar maybe. Things look a bit odd, a bit out of place. Then Dempsey notices Richtofen, and they all proceed to walk towards him with their guns pointed at him instead. We then see Richtofen performing some kind of surgical procedure on somebody on this table not looking too good. Obviously had his brain removed. He then puts the sword down and looks quite confused. He looks at his hand, it's like he's only just realised where he is and what's happening. And if you look carefully you can see the vials of blood that he was carrying with him in an earlier teaser. The characters then get distracted by a horde of zombies coming towards them. At this point, they kind of realise that it's them versus the zombies. They get distracted again, but this time by a large light. They look up, and they find that they're staring into the face of the giant. Something to take note in this scene is that the giant has what looks to be an iron cross on his chest. This is an emblem, a symbol. It's not just to do with World War I. It goes way back before then. The giant then tries to stomp on the characters, and presumably this is where the game starts. This was a very awesome cinematic. There are a few things that I didn't like too much. I really don't like the new Samantha's voice. It is really bad. Maxis doesn't quite look like how I imagined him. But on the whole, I'm very excited. I can't wait. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.